Did you know you could make AI even smarter? So this is you. You don't know how to do anything without asking ChatGPT. You can think of the LLM as a generally smart computer, but sometimes it doesn't understand the full context of what you are asking, so you give it additional information with the request. So you can describe the goal or what you are trying to accomplish or how you want the AI to respond. This works, but it's limited because you're basically putting all of that information in line with the prompt, and the more context you add, the more noise is introduced, the AI starts to give bad responses. What if instead of providing all of that context in line, we could have a database of everything the AI needed? So now we have a smart computer that can interact with unlimited data to give the absolute best response possible. An example of this is, let's say you are a content producer. You could put in this database scripts, example content, goals, content guidelines, and any relevant data. This is going to make the LLM so much more useful. This concept is called RAG, and is short for Retrieval Augmented Generation. And this is how you build a super AI that's intelligent with relevant information. So instead of thinking of the AI model as something that knows everything, instead think of this as the compute engine, and then you provide it the additional information through the RAG database. So now we have a smart computer and all of the data needed to create a super AI. I mentioned earlier the problem of noise when you provide a lot of context. So if you just put everything that the AI needed in your prompt, it can get lost in all of that information. So I gave this example in another video. If we have a bunch of information in the context, the more context we add, it's easier to get lost in all of this information. You might be referring to this stuff over here, but the AI thinks you're talking about this over here. So here's how you can visualize RAG. We have a bunch of data we put in a vector database, and then when we make a prompt, the relevant information is retrieved from that database because the model sees it as similar through the process of vectorization. So we're going to definitely talk about that in a dedicated video. So don't worry about that process right now, but basically when you put stuff into an AI model, it doesn't read text as is. It's converted to tokens and is vectorized. What does that mean? Well, you can basically think of a RAG database as providing a substantially large context, but it only uses the relevant information in that because it is similar enough to what you're talking about in your prompt. So it doesn't just look through all of the data, it grabs the relevant information that might be needed to answer your question. Whereas if you were just to provide all of this information in the original prompt, you would have to basically copy and paste this full data set with your query, and that's going to be really sloppy and not as effective as RAG. So you can do RAG with RAG. So there are dedicated vectorization databases, or you could just use a typical relational database like Postgres or SQLite. Everything we talked about is made possible with RAG.